Hello, this is Sophie Lawson from sophielawson.com, and this is a little video. It's the first of a new sort of series I'm going to do. I've been wanting to do this for ages, so I'm doing a lot of studying at the moment, so I don't do as much drawing, but I really want to share some of the things I'm learning. So what I'm going to do is, every time I finish a course and stuff like that, and it will also be from books and things, I'm going to basically just talk about the course and give my thoughts on it, really. So this first one is going to be a course at svslearn.com, which is the Society of Visual Storytelling, and it's a course called How to Ink 2.0 with Jake Parker. And this course is all about inking. I'll give you a little... Here's the man himself, Jake Parker. I'll just let him talk, really.
Hey, I'm Jake Parker, and in this course I'm going to teach you pretty much everything you need to know to become a great inker. I think ink is one of the most challenging art forms because it has unique demands that most other mediums don't ask of the artist. So it's a line-based medium that's permanent, and it requires careful technique and patience to make something look polished and presentable. However, it's also one of the most rewarding art forms because it's quick and efficient, it's visually striking, and I feel it's quite liberating. So we live in a world that's made up of values, tone...
So that's basically what it is, and that's the little man, Jake Parker. I absolutely love him. I think, to me, he's like... Well, I've called him my Mr. Miyagi, because what he does, the way he teaches is incredible. For me, it's perfect. He breaks everything down into little chunks. And like on that film Karate Kid, where Mr. Miyagi, he has a little boy doing these exercises like wax on, wax off. The little boy just wanted to get fighting, but what he realised at the end was all these exercises that he was doing, it allowed him to be a much better fighter at the end. And this is exactly the way Jake teaches. What he does is he breaks things down into these little practice exercises. You repeat those exercises, and then when you sit down to do a proper drawing, you suddenly realise that you're improving. So, like one of the main ones is my line quality. What he does in the course, I'll show you in a minute, he has you drawing pages and pages of lines, like straight lines, curved lines. So then when you sit down to do a drawing, you'll start noticing that what you're learning, you're putting into practice. Because sometimes, as you're learning, sometimes you feel like you're not actually learning. But it's when you sit down to do a drawing that you realise you are. So this course is incredible, really. If you want to learn how to draw... Stop talking. If you want to learn how to ink, I would say this is a course for you. It's the introduction, it covers like the basic things. He then talks about tools, paper, pens and additional supplies, strokes, hatching, basic, consistency, variation, application, and all of these. What I love is he talks to you and explains what he's doing. You then watch him doing it, and he'll give you these little exercises to basically go and practice yourself. And you can always come back and re-watch things, which is what I do sometimes. The way I like to learn is I like to watch the video, and then once I've finished watching the video, I'll go back and take some really rough notes, and then I'll watch it again with the rough notes, and then I'll copy the rough notes into more tidy notes. So it's like repeating what he's saying. I think that's quite a good way to learn. He then talks about contour lines. As you can see, there's just so much being covered here. Form lines, local value, light and shadow, texture, that's a fun one. 4 stages of drawing. He basically walks through the process of doing a drawing, explaining the whole thing from gesture right to the end, and he does the same with drawing a character. And then there's a little wrap up and resources. What he does is you can print out some of these drawings, which are done with like very light orange lines, so you can practice inking over the top of them, which is another fun thing. And then these are the little brush pens I've been using, or my ink pens. So I'm a lot more confident with this one now, which is the Tombow, well, it's a calligraphy pen, but it's a stiff brush pen. A lot more confident with that, a lot more confident with these fine liners. I would say my favourite fine liner is actually these ones, the graphics ones by Derwent. I don't know why, I like the feel of them and the colour of the black. This brush pen though, I'm still getting to grips with this one, because this is insane. It's, you can see like the bristles are actually in like all separate. So this thing is just, to me, it's like a diva. It's got a mind of its own, but I feel like you can tame it. And what I love is I bought this pen. I started playing around with it when I first got it months ago. It scared me so much that I stopped using it. When I watched this video, Jake started using this exact pen, and he said something which really inspired me. He said when he first started using this, he was really uncomfortable with it, and it took him about 30 drawings at least to like get confident with it. And as soon as he said that, I pulled this pen out and I just got down to practicing, because I thought to myself, if the master Jake Parker struggled with this pen, then it's okay for me to struggle with it. And what I've noticed is the more I use it, I'm just getting more and more confident with it now. So like this course to me is all about confidence. Like I said, when I'm doing my lines, I still, because I've always found inking incredibly nerve-wracking really, because you know that if you mess up, there's not much you can do about it. So I still get nervous as I'm drawing, but thanks to this course, he's just made me realise that it's okay, like even if you mess up, he even said himself, it's just ink on paper, so just get another piece of paper and do it again. This course really is all about confidence. So I'll just go through basically the little notes that I took. What I do is, as I'm studying, if the teacher ever says something that I think is really inspiring, I'll pull out the little quotes. So, oh look, this is what he said. He was talking about this brush pen, and he said, you got to be really delicate, like butterfly licks. I love that, and that's the thing. These like really soft, thin, gentle lines. He's showing you everything. This course shows you everything. How to do the lines, how to practice the lines. So if you're struggling with ink or you just want to improve, this course is amazing. And like he teaches you all about thick line thickness. So he teaches you when to do thick lines, when to do thin lines, but he's also teaching you how to do thick lines and how to do thin lines. So many practice exercises covering everything like textures, long strokes, little strokes, curved lines, straight lines, and some of the exercises, like he'll have you drawing random shapes and then filling them with like different hatching styles. So you're constantly learning, which is amazing. And the thing is, it's fun. If you just get a sheet of paper or sheets of paper, draw these random shapes, stick some music on in your headphones, it's amazing how time flies by just sitting there doing lines over and over. And like what Lee Hammond says, one of my other favourite artists, she says repetition is the key to learning. If you're sitting here doing hours and hours of lines, you are just going to get better, like naturally. So it's quite incredible. It's quite incredible how much your inking skills improves, and you don't really realise it. As like you're sitting down doing these lines, you don't realise how much you're improving until you sit down and do a drawing, and you see that you're improving. This was a fun one as well. So I did a course before about mastering perspective. Perspective is something I'm still really struggling with, but like I'm getting better at perspective. So what I've been doing is, as I was sitting down practicing these ink lines, I was also practicing my perspective. So I was kind of like tag teaming the courses up. But he has you doing long lines, little lines, thick lines, thin lines, and you're using all the different types of pens as well, which is good. These are the sort of things you'll be doing. Here I was playing around with all the different fine liners I've got. I was even using a Sharpie. That's funny. Those Sharpies stink though. I don't think I could do a lot of work with just Sharpies, because I feel like I'd die of poisoning. Little circles, they're good. I think it's really important though to keep your notes nice and tidy, because the amount of times I'll come back and if I just need to recap on, say, texture, I can just look at that page now and, like Jake Parker says, use texture sparingly. But like you can get a little quick recap, and sometimes that's all you need, is you just need to read one word and you'll remember all the stuff that Jake was saying. That's all about textures, less is more, so you don't always have to draw all the textures. Like, I absolutely love this course. That was fun as well. You're drawing these random blobs, just random blobs, and then by using your hatching, drawing lines, you're making sure you're following the form to make it, turn it into a 3D shape. So you're even like learning how to turn things into 3D. This is fun as well. Again, it's all about hatching and stuff. Like I could just sit there for hours doing these little exercises. It's just a lot of fun. What I thought I'd do is go through his little drawings as well. So, and the good thing about this is you can print these out as many times as you want. So these are all done with the brush pen, but I'm going to print them back out and do them all again with like this Tombow brush pen, and then do them again with this like fine liners, because it's all going to look different. This is funny, look, I completely messed up her eyes, because this is one of the things with ink, is I wanted to have nice thick eyelashes. As soon as I started doing it, I realised I shouldn't have done that, and then it was too late, and I tried to fix it by putting more ink down, and like I've learnt there that you can't really fix it once. I don't know, I can smell burning. It's a bit random. I think somebody's cooking downstairs. I like that little dragon thing. He also talks about like wiggly lines and straight lines, so he's fun. He's called Bruce. Brucey Hamburger. They're really fun little characters though. I think that's my favourite one. It's like a witch with a ink pen. A super fun character, that. And then that one. But if I look at my drawings, because what I noticed was when I was going over the top of these, it was quite weird. I've never ever inked over the top of someone else's drawing, but it's quite weird because you haven't created the character, you're not 100% sure what the shape is. So you're trying to do a straight line, but sometimes you're doing it and you can't see like where the line's going. Whereas when you do your own character, because you know where the line's going, because you created it, you can sort of do it without even thinking. I don't know if that makes sense. But if I look at what I was doing at the start, some of my first like lines, you can see they're a bit like wiggly. Whereas now, not only are they a lot more, it's just confidence. The lines are a lot more confident, but also you can see like I've started doing things he's teaching, which is like thin lines for like details and stuff. So I'm basically, this course has made me a lot more aware as I'm drawing of what I'm drawing. So instead of just going into a drawing and putting the same line for each thing, I'm starting to think, is that line a thick line or a thin line? And not only am I aware of what I should be doing, I know how I should be doing it. So maybe sometimes I can't do a thin line. I'm at least practicing so I know what I'm trying to do. And again, over time, it will just get more and more better, I think. But I absolutely love this course. It's one of my favourite courses so far. How to Ink 2.0 by Jake Parker. Definitely recommend looking into that course if you want to improve your inking skills. And I'll put a link and everything in the description. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you later for another one.